We go.
Hey, welcome to the Story Studio podcast. The podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
That's like Thai. We're eating pad Thai.
I'm Johnny. That's Sean, and we're joined today by a survivalist, a prepper. Really,
hey there, Prepper Dave here.
Log cabin thing. He's really just. The funny thing is, it's kind of like a slow boil. Like eventually, the back wall, part of the back wall, will have like one board. And then it'll slowly, like he'll just become in a log cabin in the woods. And
you'll see several guns behind me.
I think he does look like Montana Matt. Like he's just.
Yeah, if you guys hear anything weird during the show today, it's probably Dave splitting wood.
I don't know. Like the red and black checked lumberjack flannel, not really something I've ever seen Dave pull off, but it's fine.
But he's got the beard and the long hair,
right. And it's not just the beard. Like we're used to seeing Dave with a beard, but this is definitely going with the "I'm never sleeping with my wife again" beard. Like it's just...
Well, it shows what you know. When she saw me, she's like, "Oh wow, you look like a real man now."
Well, I guess anything that buries your face, this can't be good. You look like Duck Dynasty.
No, she does. Oh Jesus! No, she doesn't care for the length of the beard, of course. But,
well, that's what I'm saying.
She likes the flannel, though.
You gotta grow the full on like ZZ Top beard so that you can do this sort of thing where you.
I think he goes to the park and like children are swinging from the thing.
I'm preparing for the summit in February. I'm going to be, full
not
on
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about we're going to spoil the fuck out of the Haunting of Hill House. So if you haven't seen that and want to see it, maybe bookmark this one and come back to it because it's kind of no holds barred. It's been out for more than a week, so by Dave's definition, we're allowed to crap all over it. Not crap all over it. We're going to praise it, but it's spoil it.
Yeah, this was actually Dave's suggestion. He was like, "Have you guys seen this? You should see it. We should all talk about it." And we both jumped right on.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Dave's suggestions more and more on the podcast because he's got more and more guns. He's actually in the
this
behind.
podcast is taking a very different direction.
He's in that closet behind Sean if you're watching on YouTube.
Johnny, I have a question for you. Do you think do you wish that Dave had started his prepper stuff a little bit earlier? Because we're writing a book right now with like a prepper style guy. Would we have used Dave as a model for that?
Maybe. I hope that he keeps it going though, because my goal for this final, we have the final Smarter Artist Summit coming up in February. And my goal is to have at least one security guard ask him to leave.
That happened to us in LA. We got escorted out of a building.
We did. So before we get to Hill House, I wanted to continue. I left a cliffhanger before we started, and I was starting to tell Dave and Sean, but Sean already knew the punchline, why I need to just make sure that we're done with the podcast in a timely way today and all that stuff. But then I figured it would be better to just tell Dave on the air because it feels like something he would have something to say about. My family and I are going to go.
Something to say about everything.
Everything. My family and I are going to go camping this weekend. Dave, how do you feel?
What?
Said the guy in the red flannel.
Why would you ever leave your house?
Half of the gear that we're packing is to protect us from you.
Then you haven't brought enough.
So anyway, so that's what we're doing.
So you've decided you don't like your family anymore and you want to lose them to a bear or, a serial killer or whatever?
Well, I mean, are we any safer from bears at home? Really?
Depends if you have cookies.
If you have cookies.
Are you sleeping in sleeping bags or on air mattresses or what?
Sleeping bags.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
You have fun with that. I want to see you Monday morning, how hellish you look.
All right.
I want to know how much Dave would charge for a camping trip because I would pay to take him. Like, I don't want to camp with him because I don't want to hear the bitching. But
you mean like worst cruise ever?
Yes, right. Like I would want to watch Dave on a camping trip, not participate in it.
I think they made that into a movie called Cabin in the Woods or something.
But by the way, have either of you guys ever heard of glamping?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't do that.
What?
Okay,
We're burning wood and getting disgusting.
So glamping. Actually, Dave, this is relevant. The thing that I was that I'm mapping out right now, where the bad guys needed to have like a place within that bigger place, the forest. So I thought, okay, well, what would be cool? And so he finds this place, which is like an actual glamping. Like I learned the word glamping yesterday. I didn't know it until I was location scouting for this thing. And there's these in Montana. There's like out in the wilderness, you can go camping like a man, or you can pay a lot of money to go into this like gorgeous tent in the middle, but it's got running
camping.
water. It's hipster camping. It's total hipster camping.
Okay, that I would actually like. I mean, I know I'm looking like a survivalist, but no, I want the pleasurable experience.
Okay, so you would glamp, you wouldn't camp. Is that right?
Yeah. God,
You're looking at this. You're looking at this third guy and thinking that he's not into something glamorous. That's just absurd.
I'm just.
Have you ever shit in the woods and had to use leaves to wipe your ass? It's not a fun experience.
The giant sack of contradictions that is David Wright. I just don't quite place it.
So with this giant sack of contradictions, introduced us to The Haunting of Hill House. Just to bring it in a little bit. So I'd seen the tile on Netflix, but it was like, you see a lot of new cool looking tiles on Netflix, but Dave sort of was like, you got to watch this. And I think I got ahead first, and then Sean beat me to the finish, and I just finished it recently. But
yeah, I wouldn't have actually.
So I just want to repeat how badly we're going to spoil it. Just one more time. I don't want anyone thinking we're not going to spoil it.
I wouldn't have watched it because I've seen a bunch of Hill Houses before. Read the book a long, long time ago. I've seen at least 2 remakes. I wasn't interested. Like, okay, yay, Netflix has a new take on it.
Yay, a ghost story.
Yeah, Netflix has a lot of stuff, right? And, I do watch 90% of the stuff that I watch is with Cindy. And actually more than that, 95% of the stuff I watch is with Cindy. So,
You know what percentage I watch with my wife? 0.5.
Well, except for this, right, Dave?
No, I started it with her, and she got chickens out.
That's what I meant. The point he was making. Yeah, so Dave has no compass whatsoever. He basically says, "Oh yeah, it's fine. It's a ghost story. No big deal." But it's
your family would love a Siberian film.
It's
a Siberian film. Oh, I like that.
Or what was it?
They kill people and then pack them in snow.
It's
Serbian.
Serbian. Yeah, Siberian. Okay.
I like Siberian film though. They all wear fur hats.
It's all the same.
So,
yes, I'm sodomizing a body in a fur hat.
Yeah. So the movie itself, or the show itself, it's I think 10 episodes. Yeah, it's 10 episodes.
And that's it, right? I mean, when I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, well, there'll be a season 2. But after I watched the 10th, I'm like, no.
There is a season 2.
Is there? Okay. I'll be interested to see what they do with it.
No. I actually like this. So if it was season 2 with the same house or the same family, no, I'm out.
So it's a little more like American Horror Story.
Yeah, it's an anthology show that because I was real interested after I finished it, and I both read an interview with the guy, and then I went and watched Gerald's Game, which he'd also done, which is a Stephen King adaptation, which I've never read the book. Johnny says it's terrible. Dave has not read the book, but recommended.
Well, I didn't like it. I don't know. I would say it's terrible, but
actually, one of my friends liked it. He actually lent it to me on Audible or whatever, but I didn't listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never listened to it. I didn't know. Like it has a big shift. Like right after it has kind of a 4th act, but it works. Like I don't know how it would work as a book, but I also felt it was I like this guy who made Hill House. The adaptation is really.
Well, I love the format. The format. I mean, the first time. Like 13 Reasons Why, if they hadn't done season 2, is like the first time I noticed this. And then Maniac was this way. And I thought this was going to be just one season, but I like that. The idea of a 10 to 12 hour season.
Yeah, they do that a lot. And the UK does it a lot more than we do. They have shorter seasons that tell full stories.
Well, there was that in the like 80s, late 80s and early 90s. That was a whole TV miniseries. And they were usually shitty. They weren't done as well as anywhere near.
Right. Now they have these like big, like they have film like scope on TV, but like bring it home. Because really a lot of King stuff would make for great one and done seasons.
Yeah, if he stays out of it.
Right, yeah. So anyway, Hill House has a lot of trauma. That's the thing I think that Dave's Compass is a little bit wonky on, is that just because they don't have to show like a brain getting scooped out or a chest cavity.
Yeah, it was hard to watch in that way.
Even though they do that too, Dave.
Yeah, I was amazed by how well, I mean, of course, anything good is going to be emotional in some way, but it was an emotional series, and it was like kind of hard. Like there was a lot of dealing with death.
Oh,
but
yeah.
What shocked me about this was when you got to the for me, episodes 1 through 9 painted the picture of one kind of show, and episode 10 flipped the genre for me. Like it stopped being a horror show and started being a drama in some way. Does that make any sense?
I thought it was a drama all along.
Yeah, it was always a drama for me.
I think that's what made it good, the character development.
Well, I mean, it was a horror drama, but it like even stopped being horror to me. It wasn't the last episode. I didn't feel any of those horror elements other than the obvious ones.
Yeah, but there were probably more horror elements in the last episode than there were in the first episode, right? Because you actually saw a lot more of that stuff.
Well, here's my compass. So see if this makes any sense. So unlike Dave, I never watch horror movies anymore. We've talked about this. Like I do watch everything pretty much with Robin, and she doesn't like that sort of thing. So it's really, really rare, really rare. And I think I told the story of watching one weekend when the family was gone. And so it was just me in the house, and that never, ever, ever happens that I have the house to myself. And so I decided to watch, at the time, I think it was The Ring or The Grudge. It was one of those two. And it scared the shit out of me. It was like, not having a tolerance anymore and then going drinking. And so my horror tolerance is really low, and even with it, like I'm always kind of waiting for something, and I felt that way through most of this show, and by the end, I wasn't worried about being, you know what I mean, like that guard. I didn't even care anymore because I knew it wasn't going to scare me in any way.
Well, the threat was also removed once you realized what was happening, I think, at the end.
But I didn't realize fully until the 10th episode. Did you guys?
Yeah.
That the ghosts were there, like that they continued to live. What didn't you realize?
Well, it became honestly, it kind of had a happy ending. Like it. Yes. I mean, I know that a lot of ghost stories do, but it was almost uplifting. I mean, he dies at the end. Mm-hmm. Timothy Hutton's character dies at the end, and it's somehow this beautiful happy ending. That's, I think, what I mean.
Wait, okay, did you just, I mean, this isn't even like related to anything, but when did you realize that there were two different actors playing the dad? Because I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that the first episode, it's really obvious. I'm like, oh, wait, that's really amazing makeup. And then I realized the second episode,
do you know who the young,
yeah, it's Elliot.
Yeah, Henry Thomas.
I wondered why they did that, though, because I mean the aging of 20 years or whatever, they could have used either man for both roles. I thought
I didn't understand that either. Do you guys?
I do. I think that was a good choice.
It worked. A little I like both actors.
I don't know. I never fully buy somebody in two time periods. I buy them as one age and not the other. Usually, makeup.
But it's not that big of a time difference, like 15, 20 years or whatever. It's not a huge gap.
No, I mean, you can do it. It just never strikes me as right. It breaks the
I haven't aged at all in 20 years.
Right. It's a little like how Dave says that a joke pulls him out of it's the same thing. It's like, I'm just aware that one of those is wearing makeup, and I don't know. I like it. But why was this? Let's talk about the storytelling in it, right? Because that's what started this, was the amazing storytelling.
Well, I love how each episode more or less focused on one person's backstory. And they began with what I thought was the weakest character initially. But I came around to liking him more, the writer.
Oh, yeah. Once you know more about him, he's the perfect person to be the first character, though, because
I really like the first episode. I liked it, but I didn't love it because I wasn't bonded to him that much. But when they showed
because he's cold and he keeps everyone at a distance,
right? And it kind of
the viewer.
And the other girl does, the middle daughter does too, the one with the gloves.
I like her a lot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the next two episodes with those two daughters that like I really love this show because like I felt like, oh my God, this is awful. And especially when you learn that the one girl dies, the youngest daughter, and it's just absolutely horrifying. And you were living through each of these siblings in the past and present, and they bounce back and forth, and they do
Wait,
it.
let's talk about the timeline real quick, because
Okay.
there's a complicated timeline to this series, and it's actually identical. The way the structure of the show is identical to a project that Johnny and I had finished, I think, a year ago, and we're sitting on it for like another year. but it's done, it's out there, and the timeline is kind of complicated, but once it works, it's beautiful, because you've got the actual timeline that's present day. Here's what happened in the order that it happened. And in that timeline, it does a lot of things that all three of us really have a fetish for, which is the same story, but now you get a slightly different perspective. So there's a lot of overlapping timeline, especially in the first 5 episodes, with the same chunk of story where the family is kind of coming together. The youngest daughter has killed herself, and this is kind of the prelude and aftermath to that event. But every episode layers another bit of context onto it, because now you see it from this person's perspective a few minutes before, after, during, whatever. And then you've got the flashback, which is what happened in the house leading up to and during this one fateful night. And then you've got a few random flashbacks that are in the time periods between those, events. And it's elegant. Like, it's so beautiful, because you see them as children, and the children they cast as the younger versions of these adults are exceptional.
Oh yeah, excellent acting all around. Everybody, there wasn't one character in the entire series that I thought was bad actor at all.
And I love that only a few of them had a real acting resume, like Carla Gugino, but I liked how new most of these people were.
But Carla Gugino is perfect. Like, she was so good. She's one of my favorite actresses. I've always liked her. So we watched Gerald's Game, and this is funny how
also done by the same guy,
right? Which is why I went immediately to that. Now, Cindy rarely ever calls Mercy. Just doesn't. And but Gerald's Game, we were probably less than 10 minutes into it, and she's like,
no, that's a tough one.
No. And so she knew, and like, what was funny is we hadn't got to the worst of it. She hadn't even seen a trailer. She just knew. And yeah, like, I watched it on my own later. I'm really glad she bailed.
The scene on the bench with the fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have destroyed her.
Yes, that's just, it's a hard movie to watch under any circumstances, but yeah. So but gorgeous too, that whole eclipse scene, the makeup on that dude. I mean, not to get away from Hill House, but it actually is worth mentioning, because Mike Flanagan, his character work is phenomenal. And Gerald's Game in lesser hands would have failed. Like, I understand what Johnny's saying. Like, I mean, I didn't read it, but I could see how it would totally fail and, as a book, and I could really see how it would just be. It would be Saw as a movie. Like, it would just be this, like, basically torture porn, and that's not what it was at all. It was this thing where you really truly felt for this person, and they're getting through emotional catharsis as much as a physical situation, which is exactly, like, I understand thematically what this guy is drawn to, because Hill House is that over and over and over again every episode.
Now, what I really liked is in Haunting of Hill House was the relationships between the characters and how damaged they all were from what happened, and how each of them had a defense mechanism which basically, like, developed from this experience and caused them to deal with the horror in a different way. Like, they shut people out, or they don't trust anybody, or they're addicted to drugs. Just all these different things that just it's such a great.
Or the oldest sister, like, I think Vince Gilligan is the master of backstory, but this dude, I don't know, this dude might punch him in the face and take his money, because there's, I mean, like, what the oldest sister does for a living, she's a mortician,
Oh God, the whole episode where she's preparing her younger sister for burial is just brutal.
And her character's name is Shirley.
Yeah, so Shirley becomes a mortician, and you think, why would somebody with all of this trauma become a mortician? And I'm wondering that the whole first few episodes. Like, I need a good explanation why this person is a mortician. And then they give me the best explanation ever. Like, her backstory episode was just those moments where you see, oh, this is how it's like a superhero origin story. You get to see truly where they were born. And it's just kind of amazing to see those moments delivered like that.
But the one thing, like Steven, like I didn't like him for a long time. Like I didn't hate, like I liked him as a kid, but as an adult, he was just a dick. But then I realized why he was a dick is because he felt that he needed to protect his family and he didn't. And he fell apart after that. But one of the cool things I liked was in Steven's episode, he runs into Luke, the youngest brother, the twin to the girl that dies, Nell. So he runs into him as he's leaving his apartment stealing shit. And you think, wow, Luke is a fucking dirtbag drug addict.
Yes.
But then when you get to Luke's episode, you're like, you want to cry for this guy. You just want to hug him. He's just like, oh my God. It's like so like, oh, it was just amazing. I'm trying and I like how they show Luke from all these different perspectives, and like all the family like has different feelings about him, and like you see him from all these different perspectives, and that's how it is in real life. Like everybody in our lives sees us as a different sort of person. I mean, you all see me as survivalist Dave.
We
see you as many things. You're not going to survive. You're just going to be. You're just going to know exactly how bad it's going to get.
Yeah.
No. So
first to die, Dave.
That's a little close.
You're going to be the guy that everybody goes to get his preparedness.
Yes. Carry him when the zombies come.
Yeah. So the thing that I was saying earlier about how it felt like it shifted genre toward, I mean, obviously it was always a drama, but I think, because I've been thinking about this while we've been talking, and what it was a tonal shift to, like everybody got full resolution on their story. So Shirley confessing to her husband about her affair.
That Steven was awesome too. The actual backstory of that, how that unfolded, and then her having the conversation, just fantastic.
And I like how she kept seeing that guy, and you're like, well, who's that guy? He's not one of the ghosts.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of trying to figure out what was real and what wasn't in this. I really liked it. So one of the scenes, I have a favorite scene, but I was thinking of the one where the mother goes in to check on the twins, and she's like, I had a nightmare, and you're like, it's innocent enough, and it's just down the slippery slope, and then she's like, what if then you leave us, you abandon us somewhere, and then we have to go put poison in our bodies, and
I wake up on a metal table.
Right, I wake up on a metal table. It just goes this downward spiral, and you're like, oh, somewhere along here, this became not really a scene. And then, of course, it was the scene where Steven comes in behind her, and she's just standing looking at the beds. That sort of reframing. In the final episode, where we finally see when Theo is in dancing, and the knob turns, and you think it's a ghost, but it's actually them outside.
Oh, that was awesome.
The reveal for the Red Room was astonishing. I didn't see that at all coming.
No, nor did I. I didn't think it was all these things to all these kids, like the treehouse and stuff. And they even dropped hints, though, if you go back and watch it.
Oh, I bet you that's a marvelous show to watch a second time.
And you also see ghosts in the background in a lot of the scenes. So, yeah.
It's almost like once I'm all said and done, I almost want to now get Robin to watch it, because it's like I wouldn't, because the first episodes are too, what it is? It's like there's no context, and it's just scary. Once you start really seeing some of the deeper emotional stuff that's going on, it's like, oh, it's not really scary now, it's just human.
Yeah, I didn't think it was super scary. I mean, I think it was a good kind of scare. Like there wasn't a lot of jump scare. Yeah.
No, but it's emotionally tense. And you've got to understand, not everybody is immune to trauma or numb to it.
It's very cathartic. What?
Well, go ahead. Well, it's very cathartic.
I was going to ask, well, you're speaking of favorite scenes. My favorite scene was...
Don't steal mine.
The reveal? The reveal?
Oh no,
For
that's
Nell?
not it.
Okay.
Oh, that's what is it? Are we going to talk Bent Neck Lady right now?
Yes.
Okay. This is amazing, and this is my favorite scene also.
So yeah, so like very in the very first episode, Nell, the youngest of the girls, she sees this ghost haunting her. It's a bent neck lady, and she's always in shadows. And you think it's. I always felt it was somebody that hung herself. And you just see
me
her,
too.
and she's haunting her through the whole thing. And then in episode 5, which was the one that just it nailed this show as like my favorite show ever.
Is it your favorite show ever?
I think so at the moment.
What's your worst show ever?
Worst show ever, the podcast. But at the end of season
episode 5 is amazing.
So the reveal that when she like I knew she was going to die that way, but I didn't realize she was haunting herself the whole time, like through time and space. It didn't matter.
Because there's no time or space.
Right. And they talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reveal when she dies, and then they flash back to each time she saw the bent neck lady, and you see that it's her each time, and she just keeps falling and falling. Holy shit. That was the most amazing thing I've ever seen on TV.
Well, and I think that's part of this whole thing that I was mentioning too, is at the beginning, she's threatening because she's this ghost who's haunting her. But I think if I watched it again, I wouldn't have that reaction to that ghost. It's like the ghosts they have their own, they're not haunting. They're not like, I'm going to get you. It's more like they're just around and they can't communicate.
Well, some of them are bad.
That's true.
But it doesn't matter, good or bad, for a human who is experiencing that ghost. It's all bad. Like you don't.
Yes.
Well, even the flip flop at the end when you realize, like simultaneously, Carla Gugino's character is basically trying to murder her family. Like that, she's trying to get them back in the room and stuff. But at the same time, you feel bad for her because she's not really bad. She's lonely.
Well, she's been tainted by the woman that was crazy. The woman that one of the initial ghosts who is basically infecting her with this poison against her family, which kind of reminded me of the Shining movie a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But there's so much joy in the ghosts in a weird way. So when the caretaker's family, they show that flash forward and they're old and she's dying, and he brings her back and says, "We made it," so that they can be together in the house. Like I don't know. I've never seen that done before. Like they want to be ghosts. They want the house to survive, even though it's evil sometimes.
Now,
well, it's a place where they could all be together, right? And I love that deal that they make at the end, which was fantastic too.
And that kind of brings me to my second favorite scene.
Oh, can I give my favorite?
Yes, give your favorite scene.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be this one. It's not. I mean, I'm cheating a little bit because it's a scene, but it's a scene, and it's a little artificial. It's that one. I don't remember. I think it's the episode 1 or 2 after the bent neck lady one, where the whole thing takes place in Shirley's funeral home and with some flashbacks. And it's shot as if it's one continuous take from
that's episode 6.
Yes.
The episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I know it's literally not, because when they show
it was done in 4 shots, I believe. But it is, yes.
Right. But even with the flashbacks, like I don't imagine that they literally had Timothy Hutton walking into a room and then had Henry Thomas in a different set. Like I'm sure there was some magic there, but the whole thing has this uninterrupted flow, and the scenes where they are all in the house and they're contemporary, the kids are adults, and it just keeps moving or circling them, or there's slow pans, was beautiful. It's just kind of unrelenting.
Yeah, that scene for me was as good as that scene in True Detective. That was it was kind of their virtuoso, I don't know, it's like a 15-minute unbroken cut, which was amazing in its own way. Like it's different, but to me it still had that same, wow, I just saw something really special. Or that hallway fight in Daredevil, when I saw that and thought, okay, well
now Daredevil does it every season, so it's less special, but yeah.
But do you mean Daredevil or Old Boy?
No, Old Boy, but
they
Daredevil,
cribbed it, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. Old Boy was the first time I saw that, but Daredevil did an amazing job. And the difference between Old Boy and Daredevil is Old Boy is a film and a master craftsman filmmaker, right? Mm-hmm. Chan-wook Park is like, he knows what he's doing. But what we saw in Daredevil and then what we saw in True Detective, it's like man, we are just in the golden age of television, because that kind of choreography and filmmaking just didn't used to be at home. You had to go to the theater, or you had to wait for a theater movie to come home. But some of the stuff that we're seeing is just, I mean, that scene in episode 6 of Hill House, we wouldn't have seen that 10 years ago on any television.
Well, they didn't have the budget for this stuff. I mean, these companies like Netflix, Amazon, Hulu,
but that's what
Apple,
I'm saying.
They're dumping a lot of money into it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But look how the culture and landscape of television has changed. I mean, what a great time for us as creators. Anybody listening to this who wants to create, this is your time. Like, tell a better story and get it out there. But yeah.
So let's talk about creation. What did you see used in this series, this show, that you want to go back and use in books in the future, or maybe looking forward to TV when we do TV, use in TV? Like, what are some of the echoes that you're like, I want to do that?
Character development.
Yeah, the fact that it was character first, and everything set up. We already talked about the duality of time here, where, you know, the bent neck lady is haunting Nellie as a little girl, and then again as a grown up, but it's her as, you know, the woman who stepped off the ledge in the house. I think that's kind of amazing. For those of you at home who can't see Dave scratching, it's really awesome.
He's got a stick for it.
Who doesn't? You don't have a back scratcher?
That's Bubba Stick Jr. right there.
But you know that scene where I think it's the second to the last episode, when the mom is up in the special room and she sees her son on the ground after having OD'd, and we haven't been given privy to that scene yet, that information yet, and we know that it's coming, and it's already been established that their time is really soft in this area because of the bent neck lady. I just think that the character development, absolutely, but also just the deft, confident hand at when they're going to reveal information to us was beautiful.
Well, you saw the other echo with the Luke scene, right? Did you guys see that?
When he was on the ceiling in the hotel room?
No, I was going to go with it's when she poisons the little girl. It's the exact same.
Yeah, that's my other favorite scene.
Yeah, he's in the exact same position. So, and it's like she poisoned Luke instead of this little girl, which she did psychically.
So the whole time you see this little girl on the grounds, and you think it's
who's surprised that Dave likes the little girl ghosts best?
No, that I did not see that coming. I was just floored. And they didn't really reveal it until 2 episodes after they did it. So you see the youngest boy, Luke, and he's talking to this little girl, and everybody thinks it's his imaginary friend. And then she's invited up to the red room, and they poison her, and she actually fucking dies. And you realize, for a while, I'm like, is that a ghost, or is that? And then you realize
that they were twins. I didn't see that coming either.
And then you realize the caretakers had another kid, and I was like, holy fuck, that's a real kid. And it's just like. And they didn't explain until 2 episodes later.
Did they have another kid, or were they always? I guess they couldn't.
No, they did have it. They had a baby that died, and then they had the girl.
Oh, because they were. Wasn't it the same actress? Wasn't it the same girl? Like, they looked the same. That's why I assumed it was.
Well, no, she was only a ghost in the present. She was always live when you saw her.
They wouldn't let her go to the house. They kept her indoors.
Yeah, right. No, I think that's what's throwing me off is what time frame we saw the girl.
Yeah, when you saw her in the past, she was always real. She was
actually a little girl in the past. She wasn't his imaginary friend.
Yeah. And they really didn't play it up until another 1 or 2 episodes later. Do they actually reveal that was their daughter? But when I figured it out, I was like, holy shit. Like, what the?
Yeah, that makes me want to watch it again because my mind just accepted it all. And I knew what you guys were saying mostly. And now I'm looking back and saying, oh, there's another thing I didn't see too. Like, it just.
But I think that's it. I think there's a lot of layers here. I think all of us are really observant, especially when it comes to story. And I think still probably all of us got 2/3. Right?
Yeah, I want to go back and watch it again. I mean, I really do. I think that
I've watched some of them twice.
Yeah, I may go back and watch it again because what I'm taking most from it
I'll watch it twice if you guys do.
Is completism. So you and I mean, I can imagine the story, the writer's room, oh my God, what if we have a ghost haunting Nell that's actually herself? Like I could just imagine them doing that. And like, you know,
I like
that
the
moment
guy who came up with bent neck lady. It was like, and it'll be the bent neck lady. Oh, that's exactly what a little girl would say, right?
Yeah, but the idea that clearly, nobody, so it's the opposite of like Lost. They were making it up as they went. And we've certainly done a lot of that. Like this show clearly, they knew exactly what they were doing through the entire episode run.
Oh yeah, we
before
saw
they
a
did
10-hour
anything.
movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the difference now. Where Harlan Coben has two different shows like this that I've seen, where they're single seasons. I think 8 episodes was one, and 6 was the other. But one is called. Actually, I don't remember either one of them what they're called, but they're both Netflix, and they're both, one of them Dexter's in it, and he has a terrible accent. He's playing an English guy, not convincingly at all, but everything else about it is awesome. But it's exactly that. It's that you're watching an 8-hour movie. You're not watching a television show. It's not set up like a television show. They're set up like long chapters or books.
Yeah, which is a format I really want to do. Like, I love that. Since we're now moving into TV and movies, I'm really attracted to this.
Yeah.
Now,
Dave.
Mike Flanagan, like if you go back and look at his movies, he did Hush, which was really, really good movie.
I have not seen that, but I need to. What's the one sentence pitch on that?
It's about a deaf woman that's in a cabin alone, and a serial killer is stalking her.
Okay,
and
I do know that movie, and that does sound awesome.
On the premise, like, oh, this is going to be just a stupid movie, but they make it
No,
work.
he's too good at
didn't love it. I didn't love it as much as I loved the other stuff. But the other thing he did, which I think is really amazing, is he did Ouija, Origin of Evil, which was a sequel to a previous movie.
Movie about a Ouija board?
It's so good. Really, it's good.
The
and
second one is? The first Ouija was
right.
mediocre.
Right. This is what he does. He comes in and he takes something and makes it better. And the actress that played young Shirley, I think, she was in that movie. And he uses his actors in a lot of different stuff, which I like.
Okay,
it's kind of like
I want to see Ouija.
It is so good. When you see it, you'll fucking love it. And because he gets character right. And he's done this on a few things where he's come in and he's done something like that was a second in a movie and nobody expected anything of it. And it was way better than the first one because he gets character right and he just gets it. Like that movie, I thought was one of the best horror movies I saw just because of the character work. And he's just fucking amazing. And the thing he's doing next, and he's going to come in and fix something that Johnny's going to be interested in, is Dr. Sleep. He's making a movie of that. And I fully expect he's going to redeem it for you.
All right. Well, I'm willing to watch it.
He made Gerald's Game work. Yeah,
that's true. Although I don't know that I agree yet since I haven't seen Gerald's Game.
I can't imagine. Like, I know your taste. I can't imagine you not liking it. I can't. Like, it's a very straightforward kind of psychological, a little bit of a mind fuck, definitely a survival story. It sounds like a scenario we would have come up with. But we would have handled it a lot differently, actually. Yeah. But the scenario itself sounds like something we would have dug.
Well, go ahead.
Well, another movie he did, and it was like stuck in development hell. I don't know what happened, but it's called Before I Wake. And the character work was really good in that one as well. It's another horror movie. I didn't love it, but I didn't. I think you could tell he did something really special with something that probably would have sucked otherwise.
Dave, are either Hush or the Ouija movie, like, why am I asking you? Never mind. I was going to say, are they Cindy appropriate? But that's
don't ask me. Probably not.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll figure that out.
So, any thoughts on Hill House as we wrap up?
I think that if you're a storyteller, even if you don't like horror, if you want to see character done right, it's just a stunning example of how everything fits together. But I would say that it's not for everybody, and you have to want to be able, like, the content is heavy. Like, if you're prone to nightmares, it'll probably trigger them. If you have a lot of trauma.
See, that's the thing. I think that's what I keep coming back to is not that I'm necessarily like prone to nightmares or something, but it very, very quickly lost that pure scare vibe to me and became more psychologically challenging.
Yeah, and it is psychologically challenging, but it's excellent. And if you've got 10 hours to devote it, if you're somebody who watches a lot of television anyway, and you want to be intentional about what you're consuming, it's wonderful. Like I actually do watch a lot of television, but I'm very picky. Like I watch one show at a time or two shows at a time. The stuff that I'm watching with my family, and then the stuff I watch with Cindy. But like this, I'm really, really glad that Dave pushed this.
I just remember one other thing I liked about it: the ghosts of the tall man, like that when they explained why he was a tall man, like he was like this short guy, and he always felt like just kind of crushed, and he had visions of being tall or something. I don't remember how they explained.
Oh my God,
it.
I don't remember this at all. Where did this happen? Was I not? He was
the guy that was buried in a wall, and they were telling a story about him, like where he dreamed of being tall or something. And then when you see him as a ghost, he's this tall, scary as fuck ghost floating.
Oh my
instead
God!
Of walking.
In that final episode where they go into the house, and it just he leans down right in front, and at that point we don't know that the dad character really kind of knows what's going on in the house. And so he's just like, just look at me. Just look at, like, the way they handled that scene was brilliant too, not just the scare of it.
Yeah, for the record, Cindy did suffer through it, and didn't really suffer. Like, she loved it. Now, had I known what I knew, I would not have recommended it to her, but she did really enjoy it. And I think I could, I think Haley would dig it, so I think I will watch it again.
Oh, Carla Gugino is in Gerald's game. I didn't realize that. You didn't mention that, I don't think. I just added it to my queue. So
yeah, I'm curious to see what you'll think.
All right, I'll check it out. So this is I would say that you should watch this, but if you listen to all this and haven't watched it yet, then there's kind of no point, right? All right, so thanks for listening to the Story Studio podcast. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Bye.